Welcome back, everyone, to the final ever episode of the Reading by Candlelight book club at Molly's Cottage. It's been 3 years of incredible author interviews, but as with all good things, this chapter is coming to an end. As the book boxes head in a new direction, and I devote my time to finishing my novel. The very first author to feature in the Reading by Candlelight book boxes and the first ever person I interviewed was my talented and beautiful friend, Jo Dixon. So it seems fitting that Jo is my final interview for this podcast. Welcome back, Jo.
Where's the champagne? We should have had drinks. Where's my cocktail? Didn't think this through, did we?
We did not, no.
Hi, Fiona. Thank you for having me back. This is really fun,
It
even
is,
without
even without champagne, yes.
champagne.
Two of Jo's books, The House of Now and Then and A Shadow at the Door, featured in the January 2023 and January 2024 book boxes, and her third novel, A Disappearing Act, was the featured book in the inaugural Reading by Candlelight Advent Calendar. That just came out in December 2025. Now, Jo has the honour of being the only author that has been interviewed 3 times on Reading by Candlelight. You're
Oh
special.
yes, I am special. I was very, very fortunate to be your inaugural bookie. And when I think Molly invited me back to be the second one, I was like, really? But that was fantastic. And then she said, okay, you're going to be the last one as well in the Advent calendar. And that was just, I was very excited to be part of this. And look, now here we are, 3 years of doing this. I can't
I
believe it.
know, 3 years. And I love that it's come full circle, that we started with
Yeah.
and we end with Jo. It's perfect. Here's a little bit about Jo Dixon for those who don't know. She lives in a gorgeous part of southern Tasmania and is a best-selling crime author. Between writing bestsellers, she rescues abandoned animals and occasionally abandoned writers, many who have been lucky enough to experience Jo's legendary hostess skills. You'll find her most days in her writing studio, but she occasionally surfaces to record an episode of The Word Count with me and our co-host Jack Allen. Jo loves pink and Lego and enjoys a gin or two and is married with 2 lovely boys. And for those who haven't read it yet, Jo, can you give us a spoiler-free pitch for A Disappearing Act?
Oh, this is so funny because I'm a bit out of practice. And as I was saying to you before we started recording, I had to write down the names of my characters because I couldn't remember them. I'm deep in the throes of writing the next book, and I am my head is full of new people, new places, new plots, but I'll do my best. Okay, so A Disappearing Act it's a dual timeline about friendship. We have 4 friends who've known each other for a very long time, and one of them is a best-selling author, and she's come across from London, and they reunite at a holiday house down in southern Tasmania, the very bottom of Tassie, in the middle of winter, in the bush. No one around. Yeah, great place. No atmosphere whatsoever. And I say that quite sarcastically. It's very spooky down there sometimes. Um, and then they're having a great old time. There are cheese platters and there's champagne and cocktails and what have you, and reminiscing and hugs and bad dancing, all that good fun stuff that we do when we get together with our oldest and dearest friends. But of course, truths come out. There's some bickering, there's some issues. And then Marnie, the best-selling author, disappears. She goes out for a walk and she doesn't come back. So the big question, of course, is what happened to her? She could have disappeared by herself. She has the money to do that. And she's got some controversy about to erupt around her. She could have had an accident. Oh my God, the bush down here, it happens way too often, really does. Or something worse happened, someone done something to her. So that's what we're waiting to find out. And interspersed with that, we flash back to when these girls first met 30 years or 25 years earlier, and how desperate Marnie was to be part of this group of creative, amazing women, and the lengths we go to belong. And we truly want to belong to an amazing group of people. So, yeah, it was a good book. I enjoyed it.
So did I. I loved it so much. And I especially love the flashbacks to the late 90s when they're all in Melbourne because I remember those times. So
Oh,
it was great.
yeah.
Oh, what was your inspiration for writing this story?
And the two things probably. The first one was when I turned 50, I had a little 50th birthday, and we actually hired a remote island down here in Tassie, which sounds really fancy. It's not fancy at all. It's all off grid, an island full of penguins. But my three oldest friends, so four of us all together, we went across there in a little boat. And I just had this vision as we all climbed up the rungs of the jetty onto this island. I thought, what if only three of us went back? And it was just this perfect setting for it, sort of something to go wrong. So that's seed for that. And then on top of that was just this notion of, how well do we know our friends, really? I mean, if you got together with your oldest and dearest friends, the ones that you don't see all the time, who come in and out of your life, you love dearly, if you found out that one of them had done something terrible, if you're best, you know your best and your oldest friends so well, but do you? And what would you do? Would you help them if something terrible had happened to them?
Now, people often say that the third book is where things really shift. Did A Disappearing Act feel different to write than your first two?
So you said your knowledge increases the more you write, obviously. The confidence, I would say, it comes and goes. There are days I feel great, I know what I'm doing, or I know I will get through it. But then there's also like the pressure of doing it again and hoping you can do it again. So it's a very mixed bag of emotions, honestly. I never take it for granted that it's going to come out the other.
Which is funny because you would think that with each book, you become more confident. So,
Not necessarily, not for me, certainly, no.
so looking at A Disappearing Act, what do you think you do better on the page now than you did when you started 3 books ago?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
Thank you.
And I know that I've had people say, like yourself, have said this is the best thing I've done, and it's a
Mm,
bit different to the other ones I've written, and I kind of think, is it, and why? Why is it different? I think maybe the pacing's a bit different. It's a bit more pacier.
yes, it was definitely a faster book.
Yeah, and I think the next
Oh,
one's
great.
even pacier again, a bit faster. Um, what do I do better on the page? I think I've always been quite good at setting and scene, so it's not that. I think I can do distinct characters probably quite well now. Like the characters that have a very clear voice, I
Yeah.
think, on the page. I think they do. I hope that's correct. I'd probably say that's probably where I've improved most, is this. The characters are very, I think, three-dimensional,
Yes.
and plausible as real people, and flawed. I've always believed in flawed characters, but now they're both flawed, and believable and fully rounded, I guess. Yeah. I
No,
think
I
that's where
think,
my improvement's been.
yeah, I'd agree with that because I think that, there's 4 women and they're all very distinct.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I
I
agree.
think so.
Was there an emotional question driving A Disappearing Act for you as a writer? You mentioned, you don't always know your closest
Best
friends.
interest. I think that's probably the big question behind it, that drove it most. Um, but also, I think the ending in this one, I I had the ending very clear in my head right from the get-go, and the reader will get total resolution. They'll know exactly what happened, why, and how, and when, etc., and who. Um, but it's not a neat bow. And the emotional question driving A Disappearing Act is really about your friendships. And but that also, that justice isn't always served.
Oh, yes.
I like
Like that.
that idea always intrigues me. Um, that crimes don't always go punished, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I like that. Yes. And also it just leaves everything up in the air. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's resolution,
Yes, there
but
is.
someone asked me would I ever do a sequel to it, and I'm thinking, oh, I quite like that idea.
Oh, I
This
like
this
that
one definitely
idea too.
this one definitely has scope for a second book to follow on, but I don't know. We'll see how we go.
Was there a character in the book that surprised you or stayed with you longer than you expected after finishing writing?
I think Poppy probably stayed with me the most for various reasons, which you people will discover. She's very and she surprises me as I went, and as I wrote her, she became something far more than I expected when I started. And actually, I'm strange you ask that, because I'm just doing the same with this book that I'm writing now, which has got a long way to go. But one of the characters in this book that I'm writing, I think this is what happened with the Disappearing Act too. The same thing was that I started off with a character that was not going to be, was going to sort of be the baddie, if you want to say that. And then I quite like them. And so I write them into people that I can, to a degree, understand why, or I respect them. And that change of perception of a character is enjoyable to write, and I hope enjoyable to read. I don't like that when you pick up a book and that's the goodie, that's the baddie, and they stay in
Yeah.
those lanes the whole time. I don't think life's like that. I think this is crossover. So I do like characters that waver in their lane, I suppose. From we're not all perfect, we're not all good, we're not all bad.
And I
Mm.
think it would have been very easy to write Poppy as a very minor character and very small. And
Mm.
yet, what I loved about her is that she was just, she was the peacemaker between them all. And she was also really
Mm.
the kind of the person who held them all together, which just made her far
Yeah,
more
actually, that's
fascinating as a
true.
character. So,
Yeah,
yes,
actually, that's
because
very, very true. I'd never really thought of that, but yeah, spot on.
she
She does.
stayed in contact with all of them. She was the
Mm.
one that kept them together, and you always have that one friend in the group that keeps
Yes,
them
who
together.
drives it.
Without Poppy, none of this,
Yeah.
they would never have got together again because it was always her making them all need to go. So,
Yeah.
yes, she was,
Spot on.
she might have started small, but in the end, she was so important.
She was. Oh, that's a good way of looking at it. I hadn't thought of that. Yes, absolutely. Totally agree.
Now, how do you protect your love of writing while also treating it as a profession?
I don't know if I do this very well. I think I'm the wrong person to ask. It's the wrong time to ask me that question because right now I'm not loving writing. Uh, it's look. The fact is that sometimes it's really hard work. Um,
Mm.
and I think for me, I don't read reviews because if I hit an unpleasant review while I'm at this stage of writing, I'll probably give up entirely because of course they stick in your brain. You could have 100, you know, glowing reviews and then you read a bad one, you think, oh my God, I can't do this, obviously, because look, it's terrible. Someone hated it. Don't read the reviews is a good one. Um, don't push yourself too hard. Know your limits. Be kind to yourself. Um, remind yourself in various ways that you can do this, whether it's people like yourself saying, I love the book. Um, people do reach out in DMs and what have you and say, oh, I loved it, it's fabulous, or I love one of your previous books. They help remind me why I do this. And at the end of the day, I'm not just, it's just a book. Um, if it's not to, it's fine. But no, I accept these days that the process of writing is not always enjoyable, but there are stages of writing that I enjoy more than others. So this is the hard part for me, is getting the first bones of the book, the first draft down. Coming back and editing, that's my reward for doing this. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm writing quite differently this time. Almost, I haven't got it plotted out like I would normally. I'm just writing my way through it and coming up with great things that pop into my head at night. And I go back the next day and think, oh my God, look, this is exciting. This is going to happen. And I whip a character out or I shove a new problem in front of these characters or make things really hard for them. And that rush of thinking, oh, yes, that feels good, that
Mm.
keeps me going. But also reminding myself that at the end of the day, in hopefully a month's time from now, I'll be able to edit this and it'll be great to really shape it, make the language work really well. Yeah, I can't wait for that. You just have to finish this draft, right? Easy.
You're also very disciplined, though. I mean,
Oh God, no, I'm not.
oh, you
I
go
don't, I
into your
don't think I am.
cave.
Sorry?
You go into your cave. I mean,
That
we
is
were
true.
invited
Yeah,
for days and weeks on end.
I do that. But to be fair, like my kids are in Melbourne, they've left home. My husband's overseas working. The number of animals on the property has decreased significantly, so there's less of that. The house is a mess. I don't cook much. I ignore a lot of things that are meant to be done. I forget what day of the week it is. I do disengage quite significantly, and if that's discipline, then yes, I'm very good at that. Um, And yes, I do come in here at the stage. I'm in here every day writing, and I've got my post-it notes on the wall. Look, does everybody want to see the post-it notes?
Show them.
Can I
For the people who are
show
listening, there are post-it notes on the wall. Catch
you?
them on YouTube.
Oh, pretty post-it notes. Um, yeah, I just have to keep going. I just have to make myself do it. Yeah, just keep going. What's your favorite phrase? Forward, focus, finish. Focus,
Focus,
forward, finish.
forward, finish. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Focus, forward, finish. Just keep on
Okay.
going
Well,
until it's
that's where
done.
I'm at the moment. Just forward, chugging along. Disciplined? I don't know, but yeah, I'm chugging along in my cave in the dark.
Now, you're known for being incredibly generous with other writers. How has being part of a writing community shaped your journey? I hate that word, but I couldn't think of another one. Especially as your career has grown.
It's it has been so much. The help when I was a newbie and a debut and didn't know what to expect. There were so many writers who stepped up and said, this is what's going to happen. If you've got any questions, ask me. Kylie Orr spoke to me. Rob McDonald reached out and I had a chat with him, and people who had already ahead of me in the game um, put my fears to rest, answer my questions. That was fantastic as a debut. You really need that because it's such. I remember making the analogy at the time is that when you get that contract, it's like you're let into a secret club. They pull back the velvet curtain. Here you go. Here's the life of the published author. Have fun. But you don't know what to expect, and everyone's sort of in their cliquey groups already. And how do you talk to these people, and what happens now? What goes on? So to have information coming from those within that club was wonderful. That was a big part of it. Plus the support, bookstagrammers, everything from bookstagrammers, reviewers, booksellers, going out on tour and meeting people. The bookish community is so wide and diverse. Readers, oh God, did I leave readers off that list? There are all these people involved, and
Mm,
and to go to the conferences and what have you. Um, it's a network, it's a mesh of people who all just are passionate for stories and books. And to be part of that's really, really wonderful. And some wonderful friendships have come out of it, obviously, yourself included. So many people that have become true friends through the bookish world as
mm,
well, which is wonderful. And when I do go out on tour and meet people, it's exhilarating. It's just this little
mm.
oomph of goodness in your life again. I just love it. I really do. It's best time.
Yes, going out to talk about your book is like going to like a party where you know everyone and everyone's your friend.
Yes, it is actually. And I have always, since I was a kid, had a fear that no one will come to my parties. So if I go and there's only three people, that's okay. Come on in, folks. It's just you and me. We're gonna have a great time.
So many people come to your parties, Joe. If you could go back and speak to the Joe who was about to release her debut, what would you tell her about surviving the emotional side of it?
Mm. Surviving the emotional side of being a debut. Have fun. Revel. It's like a bit like a wedding, I guess. Everyone says it's going to go really fast. You're only going to
Yes.
be a debut once, more or less, technically. It will go fast. Enjoy it. If you're nervous, I guess I'm talking to everyone who's ever going to be a debut, aren't I? If you're nervous, ask for help, ask what others have done, practice your questions, practice your comments, practice your pitch that you're going to, the elevator pitch that everyone's going to want to hear of your book. Remember who your characters are, that's a big one. Um, Enjoy it because it is fun. And like I say, some debuts will go off with a huge fireworks and bang, and others will just be quietly celebrated, and that's okay, whichever way you want to do it, whichever way you're comfortable with. And be part of the community, enjoy it. I think, yeah. Is that yeah, what would I tell myself? Have fun. It's gonna be
Yes.
great. And also, like a wedding, it's gonna go really quickly too. Next thing you
Yes.
know, you'll be sitting back in the cave writing the next book and freaking out. So enjoy the touring and the debut moments of celebration because yeah,
Last.
it doesn't last forever.
Now, reading by candlelight has always been about championing voices and stories. When readers finish a disappearing act, what do you hope lingers with them after they close the book?
I say this for all my books, is I want a reader is still thinking about how the book finished, the characters, or just the story at all. If they're thinking about it in any context for a few weeks afterwards, I'm happy. Like, because some readers will go straight on to the next one, the next one, the next one. And I do that quite a bit. When I'm really in the zone, I can read 2 or 3 books a week. But if you've got a book that or a character that sticks in your brain, that is what I want. If you go away from my books and you think, if you're still thinking about a character or a situation, or if only something else had happened in the story that wouldn't have happened, if you're thinking about cause and effect within the storyline, I'm satisfied with that. Really, I am. You know, if I read somewhere, I don't know who said this, but most readers will remember the characters over remembering the plot of a book.
Yes,
Um,
I agree with
I
that.
can think of books that absolutely suck me in. In fact, there are books that I've read twice, 2 or 3 times, like some of the Ruth Ware ones, and I can't remember the endings, but I can remember the characters
Mm.
still to this day. And I think if you can make your characters vivid enough for readers to remember them, then you're winning at the book writing game. I think you really are. Yeah.
Now, you're my very first reading by candlelight interview 3 years ago, and now you're my final one. So, when you think back to that first conversation, what's changed the most in you as a writer and how you hold your career?
I've got more confidence, obviously, because I've been doing this. I can talk on a Zoom without being hyper conscious of what I look like and what
Yes.
have you. I can answer questions off the cuff, which I never thought I'd be able to do as easily as I do. Sometimes
Oh, no,
I'm
you're
really
brilliant at
business.
it. You're brilliant at
Yeah, and I'm known for
it.
my oversharing sometimes as well, which is just hilarious. Um, I have confidence in myself and my ability to write a story. Um,
Hmm.
that doesn't necessarily mean, like I've been saying, it doesn't necessarily mean it's easy, because it's seriously not. And I do have doubts. I have doubts it will be as good as or be picked up. But I'm confident in my ability to put out a book that is worth reading. I
Yes,
think
absolutely.
whether it goes on to be a big bestseller or makes a breakout hit book or whatever, to a degree that's out of my control, but I can write a book. I do believe that.
Oh, yes, you
Um,
definitely can write a book, Joe.
whether it's going to, some people will read it, they're going to love it. Some people will read it, it's not their thing. That's okay. But can sit back to a degree now and be quite comfortable with the idea that I am an author. I can say that, and people, what do you do? I'm an author. I can say that and say, yeah, I am actually. It is a career. I laugh that I got my dream career in my 50s. So keep
Yes.
going, everybody. If you think it's got to happen in your 20s or it doesn't count, that's not true. Here we are. Here we are. You and
Absolutely.
me, Fiona.
Yes, I know.
It's,
You're such an
dream
inspiration
careers
to
at
me.
this
You're
age.
such an inspiration to me, Joe. So the podcast is
Thank you.
ending. Yes, you are. Look, the podcast is ending where it began with you, Joe Dixon. What does it mean to you to be the part of this final chapter of Reading by Candlelight?
I feel really honoured, actually. I'm a bit. It's, it's sort of those 3 years have gone by in a rush, haven't they? They really have.
Yes.
And I look back and it's one of those things that mark a point in time that January 23, my first book came out. I did readings by candlelight with you, and Molly put me in a book box. It's just that was so exciting, and here we are 3 years later, and it feels both a long time ago, but like time has passed really quickly, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Um, I'm so happy for Molly. I'm so happy for the book boxes to be doing so well. She's
Mhm.
just a phenomenon, your daughter. She really is. I mean, you're not bad yourself, Fiona.
Thank you.
It's
I
been
do think
so
my daughter is amazing.
it's been so inspiring to be part of this and to work together with you guys. I was quite touched when you invited me, or when Molly invited me to be part of the Advent box. That was just, absolute joy. I'm so proud of knowing her and of her doing so, and of you for doing so well. And the best is her husband, who's loitering in the background somewhere, I'm sure.
And he's in and
Um,
he's in this book.
he is in this book, and don't ask me about why he's not in the acknowledgements. He should have been.
Stop apologizing that he's not in the acknowledgements. It's fine. He loves the
Oh,
fact that he's a character in the book.
serious. He is a character in the book. Oh, dear me. It's been a journey. And I hate that word just as much as
It
you do, but
has.
we've gone from beginners to having some experience in the game. And I think we've all improved over that time in what we do, in our ability to hold
Mm,
ourselves in this space, to know what's important, to rate ourselves, to give ourselves some recognition of what we can do in the book world. So you do have to support each other, but you have to support yourself as well, don't you?
absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to thank you, Joe, for trusting me with your stories on the page and in conversation from the very beginning.
Oh, see, I told you we should have champagne.
You should.
Tissues
I
might
would
look
like.
good.
So, 3 books, 3 years, and this is the perfect way to finish as we wrap up Reading by Candlelight, the podcast. And what a book to finish on. A Disappearing Act is suspenseful, mysterious, and full of that perfect 90s nostalgia. And I've gone on record many times saying this is the best book you've ever written, and I truly believe that. And again, thank you for including my best literary husband as a character because, and for anyone who hasn't read it, he's the art gallery owner, Brendan Taylor, with the fuchsia glasses.
I should buy him a pair of fuchsia frame glasses, shouldn't I?
So that's it, the final
Oh,
episode of this podcast.
well, a huge congratulations to you, Fiona, for doing. I can't even keep track. How many interviews have you done in 3 years for Readings by Candlelight?
Well, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's listened over the past 3 years. It's been 50 episodes. I interviewed 43 debut and sophomore authors. I shared their stories with readers, and it really has been the greatest privilege. I'm going to miss it dearly, but I'm going on to new things. So,
Can I be the first person to interview you when you get your debut, Fiona?
sure, Joe. Sure, Joe, why not?
That'd be really something, wouldn't it? I'd love to do that.
But it has. It's just been the most wonderful. I've learned so much from the writers, the authors that I have interviewed. I have made so many friends doing this. I have loved every minute of it. It has been such a joy. And
Fiona,
so,
you've been such a huge advocate and such a huge contributor to the book world. I truly believe that. And you've been so generous with your time and the authors you've had in, you've been just so wonderful to them. For so many of them, you are the first person that ever interviews them, I
oh
believe.
yes, I'm very proud of the fact that I'm often
Yeah.
the very first person who ever interviews them. And I like that it's been a friendly face and an easy interview just to ease
Yeah.
them into it. And
Because I remember being terrified of, what do you say on a Zoom? How do you get interviewed? That overwhelming sense of I'm going to stuff this up, basically.
yes.
So I think that you have been the most perfect person to interview
Oh,
those early
cute.
debuts, including myself. When
Thank
it happens,
you.
I think you just handle people so well. Well done,
I think it
you.
helps when you've got a gentle pair of hands holding you as you are answering the questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
Okay, so for the final time, wishing everybody happy reading. It's goodbye from the Reading by Candlelight Book Club at Molly's Cottage.